Meditation Master JinBodhi's Dharma teachings, understanding greed, hatred, ignorance, arrogance and suspicion. Good day everyone. Good day Master. Please sit down. Thank you Master. At this retreat, we're intensifying the cleansing of bodily toxins and purification of mind and thoughts. The root cause of many of our worries and problems. Is accumulated karma from our many lifetimes and our parents. To an even larger extent, it's caused by our greed, hatred and ignorance. You might think I'm talking about Buddhist concepts. Some say they want to learn truths instead of religious concepts. Especially if they're non-Buddhists. It doesn't matter what you believe in since I'm talking about basic truths. Greed, hatred and ignorance were emphasized by the founder of Buddhism. Sakyamuni Buddha. I've also studied the concept extensively. Generally, our troubles arise from our thoughts. Where do troublesome thoughts come from? From greed, hatred and ignorance. Foremost, many troubles begin with greed. For example, you'd like better clothes, better food, a bigger house. A better school and university for your kids, and a better car. Those are all beyond basic needs. After owning something, you desire better things beyond the basics. Should you possess these things? I'd say it's not wrong to own things. Things in this world aren't absolute. Poverty and wealth are relative. There are no inherent definitions. So greed is the root of all evil. We're worried and pained due to greed. Our daily struggles and worries also come from greed. At the least, greed is the root cause. Many people who make large investments lose their money. Why? Everyone knows the answer is greed. Greed led to monetary losses. Many people talk to me about this subject. More than 100 people a year. Master, please help me. I lost $20 million in investments. Can you help me get it back? If you can, we'll split the money 50-50. I said, it's neither a game of cat and mice nor cop and thief. Split what? I'm suffering so much. Are people with so much money smart or stupid? Smart, of course. Why would such smart people do such foolish things? With $10 million, you could live the good life in the US, right? Right. You can spend $1 million to rocket up to see the goddess of the moon, Chang'e. There's that possibility these days. Even in developed countries. $10 million gives you a wealthy, leisurely life in a big house with 2 dogs. What a leisurely life, right? You swim in the summer, ski in the winter, and eat KFC every day. Anyway, you can have a luxurious life. Why bother investing? Do you think it's smart of them or not? People with so much money are normally smart. But they invest only to lose it all. They're the fools among the smart, right? Why do smart people do such stupid things? Greed. Yes, you're right. The people in this corner are so sincere that they've quickly understood. I like you. Got it. Greed can trap you. There's a Facebook video of a clever inventor of countless mousetraps. I had a look. No matter how clever the mouse, all the traps had delicious bait to lure it. Thus, the mouse falls into the bottle and can't escape. When greed arises, people cannot behave rationally. When someone has $10 million and loses it all in an investment, this foolish behavior is born out of greed. A lay Buddhist practitioner in Vancouver said to me, "Master, punish me, discipline me, please." I asked, "It's early in the morning. What happened?" He said, "Oh, last night I lost $200,000. I asked, "Did you get robbed?" He said, "No, I went to the casino." Back in the day, in Macau, I made a lot of money gambling. How come I lost money here? I said, "Stop bragging about gambling. Who can win against the casinos?" He said, "If I'd known, I'd have been better off donating this money." I replied, "Oh, you're right. When we built the Bodhi Center, you asked for an IOU to lend me $2,000. You even charged me interest. How could you lose so much last night?" This is a so-called smart person. These types are mathematically gifted and have a strong nose for speculation. When they do business, they don't go for hard-earned money if he thinks there's an opportunity. He casts the net where he thinks there's a school of fish. By casting the net, he reaps lots of fish and gets rich easily. He didn't have to endure the long, difficult process of growing his business. So, he got rich in a speculative act. Do you plan to get rich gambling? What do you think casino bosses do? Their job is to rob. If you're a thief, then he's a robber. Do you think a thief can win out over a robber? Greed, whenever you're not careful, can trap you. At its worst, it'll leave your family broken and you without a safe haven. Greed is the root of all evil. Greed is the excessive pursuit of things beyond one's basic needs. What does hatred in greed, hatred and ignorance refer to? Resentment, hatred and anger.
生气
When someone is angry, they talk nonsense and offend people. Generally, if someone is resentful, our initial impression of this person is that they're bad-mannered and hateful.
有怨恨心
But if you'd been cheated of all your money, wouldn't you hate? Is it a mistake to hate? No, it's the result of causality or karma, right? You hurt me, so I hate you. This is not a mistake. Regardless, hatred generates negative energy, which may result in revenge.
一定会产生某种力量。怨恨就可能会报复。
There's no limit to the retaliation, right?
对不对？
You hit me, so I kick you. You defraud me of $20, so I cheat you of $60. Generally, this is the case, but in our self-cultivation, when greed, hatred or ignorance arises,
贪嗔痴 这个三个字产生的时候，实际上是
significant trouble also arises. The expression for this phenomenon is,
对
if revenge breeds revenge, will there ever be an end to it? It refers to the escalating, cumulative negative energy in vengeance.
冤冤相报是将这个互相攻击报复的能量，把它叫升温加大。
Greed, hatred and ignorance lead to tremendous emotional fluctuations.
产生特别巨大情绪波动的那个根源。
Superficially, we call it emotions.
把它称为叫做情绪。
In fact, it eventually leads to harm of oneself and others.
是自我伤害，顺便伤害他人。
We don't get so emotional when we're alone. Usually, we get emotional when interacting with others.
相处的时候而产生的。
No matter who is right or
谁
wrong,
的对谁的错。
emotions always play out the way small flames turn into a huge forest fire.
叠加积累，就是从小火星变成巨大的森林大火。
Many forest fires start from loggers who are smoking.
几个人就在那个森林边上呢，一边伐木一边吸烟。
And leave behind partially extinguished cigarettes, which leads to embers.
有了小火星。
When the embers land in a pile of dry leaves, they ignite a blaze.
熊熊大火。
Similarly, emotions constantly accumulate and escalate.
积累叠加的。
Sometimes when two people bicker over a trivial matter, it can lead to vengeance and vendettas.
变成仇杀。
In the end, it causes the demise of two families. So, I've had first-hand knowledge of trivial financial arguments or disputes between counterparts, which ended in murder and prison sentences. For example, if a man were sentenced to prison, his wife might commit suicide. His children become mentally ill, and his elderly mom driven mad. His family had been fairly prosperous, making a good living. But when he saw a money-making factory, he started a copycat business. Naturally, he began to worry a lot. Finally, quarrels escalated to murder. He didn't just kill one person. Two families were destroyed in the end. Buddha taught us that to attain a healthy body and mind,
我们要真想让我们得到了身体和心灵的健康，
we need to recognize the source of our illnesses and troubles.
疾病和烦恼的来源，这就是老根，大本营。
Only if we identify the root cause will we quickly resolve our
烦恼的老
problems.
根如果抓住了之后的话呢，那我们就解决这些问题就快了。
If
如
you
果这
don't
个东西
realize
没有发
this,
现，
meditation won't be of
我们
much
禅
use.
修给我们真正的这个帮助作用力就不会太大。
You may
就是你
feel
来
good
修上半个
physically
月，
after
哎呀，身体
meditating for
舒
2
服，
weeks. But
回
once
家
home
去
and faced with
遇
minor
到一
family
点点家庭
conflicts,
事
you'll
务，
get angry again.
一有纠纷啊，火又发起来了，比
You
如
get
贪欲心
greedy
来
and
了，
invest
又头发
poorly,
滋了，是吧？
get
贪欲心来了，
lustful,
尤其
or
好
die in a
色，
speeding sports
贪欲心
car.
来了，又好车不好好开，开个跑车，哎，撞死了，哎，
All
等等
these
的这
things
些，
could happen.
这个事情就是发展出来了啊。 但是
Emotions
所
can
有
in fact
我们
severely
看待
impact our
是情绪
bodies.
上的东西，实质上都已经对身体产生了严重的伤害、严重的撞击。
The
人
human
的身体
body
经不
cannot
起这
withstand these
些这
emotions.
种情绪的，
In
其实这不
fact,
叫
these
情
are
感，这是情
fluctuations
绪
in
的大的活
emotion.
动啊。
Some
有科学家研
scientists
究，
study, let's
比
say,
如
a
说，
loyal
比如
person's
说一
life.
个，比如说一位母亲，这一生啊，她特别是一个忠诚的人，越忠
Loyalty
诚的人
makes
越
them
容易受
more
到伤害。
vulnerable.
就是
After
如
a
果你
few
失恋几
breakups,
次，
they have a
在你
few
的
cracks
DNA
in
之
their
中
DNA,
就是几条横，像在
similar
石
to
头上
engravings
划
on
了几条
stone.
道子那样，就是伤痕。 所以
People
经常有
say,
人说
I've
我失
fallen
恋
out
了
of love. How
啊，
would
英
you
文里
say
怎么
it in
说呢？
English?
什么
Heartbroken.
breaking my heart 啊？
My
哎，
heart
我的
aches
我的
and
伤，
I'm
我的心受
heartbroken
伤了，
express
我
the
的
same
心给碎了
emotion.
等，就是一样的。
The
中国人也差
Chinese
不多，我很
express
伤
it
心，对吧？
similarly.
那
When
你哭
asked
啥
why
呀？伤
someone
心
is
呗，
crying, they
伤
reply,
到心
my
里。
heart hurts
还
or
有
my
说我的
heart is
心都伤
broken.
碎了，哎，
All
感觉是一样
approximately the same.
啊。
We think
我们表面上就
brokenheartedness
以
as an
为伤
emotion.
心是一种情感、情绪的感觉。
Would
那么伤心会
brokenheartedness
不会
hurt our
是
health?
对我们的这个肉体产生了伤害呢？大
Think
家想一
about
想，
it. It would.
会，只
Today's
是
medical
今天的
technology
医
may
学的
not be
技术
advanced enough
可能还不够那么细化。
to
哎，
detect the
它是不是
damage
伤
to
到你
your
的心
heart,
脏？我不知道，
but
但是伤
damage
到
to
你的
your
大
brain
脑
is
这是必然
inevitable.
的。
Hatred, encompassing resentment and anger, leads to revenge. Revenge will produce an endless cycle of damage. Greed, hatred and ignorance are the source of trouble and disease. It's better to solve the problem fundamentally, at its root. Greed, hatred,
贪嗔痴慢
ignorance,
疑啊，
arrogance and
所以
suspicion. Ignorance
再到
signifies
这个
stupidity,
哎
foolishness, and
吃
an
就是
inability
愚
to
痴，
learn.
不是吃饭的吃哈，愚痴、愚昧，不学无术，
With
啥
no
都不
desire
学，
to learn anything,
哎，
you know
一问
nothing.
三不知，
You
这样
can't
你对
contribute to society in any
对社
way.
会的贡献就产生不了。
In
也就
order
是
to
人
contribute
要
to
有一技之
society, you
长
need a skill.
啊，才能给社会带来一些贡献。
What
说
if
的
you had a
今天
job
看着
as a
好
shoe
像低
shiner
一
or
点
a
的职业，
cobbler?
今天我会给人擦皮鞋、修包包，
Is
可不
that
可以呢？
okay? Of
可
course.
以。有些
Some
人挺
shoes
好的
leak
鞋
when
子，
the
哎，
seams
质量不太
split.
好，一不小心开线了，漏水了。其
It's
实
a
扔
waste
了
to
可
throw
惜，
them out,
用
but
吧
they're
又不好用，
leaking.
又漏了。
A
如果有
cobbler could
修
make
补的
them
那
good
个
as new
修
with
补
a
师傅
few
给你缝上
stitches.
几针，砸吧两下，啊，完好如初，就是一双好鞋。
A
那
good
很好的
job,
职业啊，
right?
对吧？
You
买
spend
一双鞋
$10
100块
fixing
钱，
a
这么缝两
$100
下
pair
10
of
块，
shoes. A
其
little
实你看看
handiwork
这
is
个这
completely
一点
worth
点手
it.
工的技术费用，其实很值得的啊！
You
你
can
就
make
给
a
别
living
人
in
带
this
来了
world while
帮助，
helping
你
others.
就能够在这个世界上谋生。
If
但是
you
如
were
果
more
能力更
capable,
大一
you
些
could
呢，
instead invent shoes that
是吧？
moved
我能够
people
发明
along
更
without them
新的
having
鞋
to
子，
walk.
是
You'd
吧？你的
benefit
腿都不用
society
走，那鞋
even
子自己
more.
走。所以，那你有这种能力，能够创造更大的社会价值啊！
You may
你可以
become
成
a
为老师，
teacher,
可以
a
成为校
principal,
长，可以成为董
CEO,
事
or a
长，可
president.
以成为总统
If you
啊！
have
如
a
果有一个
compassionate,
慈悲
kind
善良的
heart,
心，
you
那
can
对这
truly
个人
improve
民
the
的贡
welfare
献
of people.
啊，带给人民的福祉，那就很大啊！
So,
所以
your
我们的能
ability
力
might be
可以
large or
大的，也
small.
可以小的，
Do
但是
your
尽量
best
把
to
能力
learn
学多
more
一
so
点
that you can make a living.
啊，这样才可以谋生。
You
所
can be
以
ignorant of
愚
skills,
痴不
knowledge,
光
and
是技术
understanding of universal
更多
laws.
的就是指知识和对这个事物规律的理解所
You
以
learn a
通常
skill
就
to
是你
become a
的学啥
chef,
呢？我学的是一
barber,
门技术
beautician, tailor, or
我是厨
doctor.
师、理发师、美容师、裁缝等等的，就是说，包括医师也一样，
It's
它
a
是一
skill
门
to
技术。
learn and practice.
这个是应该修、应该学的。就
Once
是
you
叫
possess
你只
this
要有
skill,
了这些技术，
you
就
can
能够
benefit
给
others
别
and
人
make
带
a
来好
living.
处，就能够养家糊口吃饭因为给别人带来好处。第二种学
Second,
的
you
是
learn
德行
morality,
是
which
道
is
德
in the realm of
是
self-cultivation.
修身养性的那个境界。
A
所以有
moral
了德，
person
我
is
就成为
virtuous
贤
and
者
was thus called a sage in the past.
贤者。所以
Citizens
人
relied on
民
the
对
emperor's
帝王就
virtue.
会有一种依赖，说这个地方有没有德行？
Are you
那你这个
virtuous
省
as a
长呢？你
governor
这
or
个
a
市长
mayor?
呢？
If a
甚
school
至是一个校
principal
长，
had no
如果没有德
virtue,
行，你的孩
students
子在
would
这读书可
suffer.
就惨了。
Who
他不知
knows
道
what
干出
sort
什
of
么混蛋事来。
depravity might occur?
哎，
So, to be
所
a
以
leader of
当
many,
成为一
you
个
not only
首
need
领，
to have
成为一个
ability,
领导者，成为一个众生的领头人的时候，那不光是有基本的能力，
but
更
more
重要的是
importantly,
有
noble
更高
virtues and
尚的德
morality.
行。那么
Well, do
这个德行
universities
这个部
offer a
分，
major
在
in
今
morals
天的
and
大学之
virtues?
中有没有这个德行科、德行专科的？没有
No,
吧？
right?
没有。对，
A
正
virtuous
是
and
这个
moral
部分
person can affect the well-being of
反
others.
而能够去真正的影响到人的精神的这个系统，影响到人的精神世界。
If a
如果一个
politician
政治
with
家
great morals
是一
were
个
in
很好、
office,
真正的很好德行的人，那么
people
在
under
他
his rule
所
would
统治
benefit
领导的
greatly.
这个国家和区域，百姓就会沾光了。
This
所
is
以
all
这
a
些都是
specific
知
type of
识，
knowledge
这
called
种
good
叫成为
knowledge,
善
kalyana
知识。
mitra.
嗯，
According to
在佛
Dharma,
法分
people
人
with
种的时
kalyana
候，这种就
mitra
是
have the
向上
noblest
向
character
上的人品。
and the
哎，
utmost
本来这
merit
就
and
是
virtue.
就是功德深厚的人才能获得的。在
Feelings
我
and
们这个
attitude
对
toward
事
things
物
and
的
situations
感
may
受
seem trivial.
和我们对事物的一个态度，听起来这个词很清淡的一个词汇，
In
其实这个
fact,
态度不
different
同，
attitudes
就
lead
决
to
定了
different
结果
outcomes,
完全不同。
including
两国的
warfare
战争，
between two countries. The
这个
leader
国
of
家的
one
君王，
country picks on another
他
country
对
over
说对
trivial
方的
matters.
一些过失啊、找麻烦呐、小毛病啊之类的，就是
That's
他的
because
宽
his
容力、
tolerance,
忍耐力、
endurance, and
宏
macroscopic
观的
viewpoint
观
are
察力
lacking.
够不够？
Other than
这
these
样除了这
traits,
些
he
东西，
also
还
lacks
是心中那个
cultivation
慈
of
悲道德的
compassion
修
and
养。
morality.
所以
So,
当他
disputes
这个力
resolved
量不够
between
的时
two
候，
countries with economic cooperation.
本来可以用其他的方式，比如通过经济洽谈等等，就
Or other
是
means result in peace.
用和平的方式来洽谈两国的纠纷，往往得到的结果是和平。
But
所
once
以以
military
武力
force
显
is
示的
used,
时
the
候，
outcome is
得到的
destruction.
因果的结果就是伤害。哎，那么
Dispute
所以就
outcomes
是当
depend
有
on the
纠纷，
leader's
就看
fortitude,
这个
wisdom, and
君王的
compassion.
定力、智慧、慈悲心。
When he is
达到一定
sufficiently
程度、高
virtuous,
度的人，
he'll
他
be
就
able
能
to
够以
peacefully
和
handle
平的
things
方式
well.
来将这些事情处理好。
I'm
所
not
以
noble enough to try to persuade
我不是那
everyone
么
to
高
become a
尚，说
Buddha.
要劝大家要成佛呀，我没那么高境界。
My
我觉得在
understanding
佛
of the
陀的
Buddha's
教义之
teachings
中，
can be applied
我
to
只
our
是把它领
lives.
会到，就是这么庸俗的人类
To
生
a
活中
larger
的
or
使用。
smaller extent, whether it be for kings
这
or
个使用部
ordinary
分可大
people.
可小，大到君王，小到生活过日子，
If
这
you
些
can
把握
handle
好
things
了，
well,
我觉
you'll
得
be at ease
你
and
就
free.
是那种大自在。
Great
大自
ease
在不是说
doesn't
躲
mean
在
you're
山沟里一
hiding
个
in
人
the
待着。说
mountains.
实在
You'd
话，
hardly
真
be
躲在
at
山沟
ease
里一个人
hiding in
待
the
着，还真
mountains
不自在，
alone, right?
是不是啊？一
You'd
年
be
洗不了一
filthy,
次澡，
having had
全
no
身都是
bath for
村，
more than a
对吧？
year. So,
所以
no
大自
need
在
to
不一
be
定
a
是躲在
hermit.
深山，
A
而是
woman
通
who
达道理的
realizes
女人，
universal laws can
那就
have
是大自
great
在。
ease as her husband's helpmate and mother of their kids.
你就是 这是叫做相夫教子。
Her mind is
哪怕带
free,
几个
though
孩
she
子，心
cares
中
for
是
her
自在
kids.
的。
Because
因为
she
懂得这些道
understands
理，
universal
你
truths,
自然带
so
着那
she's
种自在
naturally at
乃至
ease
到
and free, as if
潇
she
洒
were above the mundane.
飘逸的，以为是不食人间烟火的。因为
Ordinary
普通人
people
都是为
become
点小事就
irrational
不
and
懂道理，纠
confused
结
over
纠
little
结。
things. The
我们不懂
irrational
道理的人，
amongst
就像
us
那些
act
儿
like
童啊，
kids. When you
你
tell a
看说
kid
这
not to touch
个
electrical
插电的这个
outlets,
地方不准随便动，他
he'll
就拿个
poke
东西
at
咚
it
咚
until
咚
he
咚，非
gets a
给
shock.
电的还是乱七八糟的，他下次不敢碰。
You
是
tell the
吧？明
kid
明
not to
那个
touch
野狗
wild
不能乱抓，
dogs, he
抓着
still
飞把手
grabs
指
the
咬掉一
dog
个，
and
下次
only
一辈
becomes
子不敢
afraid
看见
after he's
长毛的
bitten.
东西。
If
所
an
以
adult
就
doesn't
是一个成年
understand
人
universal
这些道
laws,
理不
he'll
懂
have
的
a
话，
hard life.
就麻烦了。
That's
所以
why
我
I
就之前
always
我就
teach
教育
youth
那
to
些
learn
青
to
少年
love
跟我来
reading.
学的是，我们爱读书。
It's also
哎，金
mentioned
bodhi
in
正经
Master
中是不是也提
JinBodhi's
到这一点？
golden words. I love
我
to
爱读
read.
书，为什么
Why?
读书呢？读
Reading
书
is the
啊，
most
是一个
cost-effective
最
business
划
deal.
算的买卖。
Everyone
想
wants
赚
to
钱，对不
make
对？
money, right?
以
Using a
少
little
胜
to
多，
win
以
big
小
is
博
the
大，
highest state of
这就是
doing
好像做
business,
生意的最
right?
高境界，对不对？那么
Then, the
最
best
划
deal
算
is
的生
reading.
意就是读书。
Even a
哪怕
careless
是一个死不要
person
脸
will
的人，
research
他
carefully
写
in
一本
order to
书，
write a
他都
book.
要仔细研究，我
They'll
怎
write
样
all
把
their
我的这个
wisdom
智
and
慧
the
和
essence
精
of
华
their
写在
knowledge
书里
into the
去，
book. The
要不然他
author
会大家
doesn't
笑话
want
我
to be
呀，
mocked.
对不对？
He
他用了一
consolidates
生的
his
经验
life
和
and
智慧，
wisdom into a
压缩在那个
100,000
10万
word
字以
book.
内的小书里头，
You
你
will
呢
read
最多
his
读2
life's
天
wisdom in 2
就读
days
完了，
maximum.
读完他一生的智慧。
You
对
may
呀，
read the
因为
book at
我们今
15,
天读书
20,
的时候，我们
30,
可能是
50,
15
or
岁、
70 years
20岁、
old.
30岁、50岁、70岁，
But
可是那
that's
只
just
是
the
过了你
whole
自
or
己的一
one
生啊，
half or
或者
1
半
tenth
生
of
啊，
your own
或者是
lifetime.
1/10一生啊。那你能够用最短的时间将
Reading
别人
enables
这一
you
生
to
的智慧
absorb
吸收进
someone
来的
else's
话，那
wisdom
就
of
是
a
读书
lifetime.
啊。所
So, the
以
best
最
deal
划
is
算
to
的
read
是
books on
读
morality,
啊
compassion, and
所
loving
谓道
kindness.
德的、慈悲的、善良的书籍，对
These
我们
books are
的
the
帮
greatest
助是
help
最
to
大的。
us. Ignorance means a lack of knowledge and inability to learn. Reading is the easiest and most effective way to grow your wisdom. I'm
贪
briefly
嗔痴
explaining
慢疑，我
greed,
们都是简单
hatred,
解释
ignorance,
一下啊。
arrogance, and suspicion. What
慢
is
是
arrogance?
什么意思啊？走路慢，说话慢。
The
傲
arrogant
慢，
feel that they're
哎，
better than others.
对，傲慢、自大，都觉得他们有什么了不起的，都是觉得这样子。
An
但是
arrogant
傲慢的人
person
呢，
may
往
have
往
some
是
skills.
有一点点本事就会傲慢，有一点点本事就是傲慢。
But a
哎，
greatly
往往真
talented and
正
wise
有
person wouldn't
就
be
是才高
arrogant.
八斗啊，学富五车的这个大智慧的人，就不傲慢了。
Those
所以
with
越
some
学了一点
skills
点
but
东西，
no higher
但是心
morals
中没有道德那个境界的人，才
easily
有这
become
个傲
arrogant.
慢的心，才有傲慢的心，随时可以升起。 所
Arrogant
以
people
平
we
常
meet
傲
in
慢
our
的人，
daily
其实在
lives
我们生活中碰到的时候，我们一
tend to
般都
annoy
会
us
有
as
点
they're
讨厌，
slick.
因为会华而不实。为了傲慢嘛，为了让自己，就
In
是内
fact, the
心越空
emptier,
虚，
the
要把
more
自己一
arrogant
定
they
要
act to armor
武装
themselves.
起来。
No
就
one
是
is
说，我不
allowed to
行，谁
comment
也
on
别
their
说我。
shortcomings. If a
还有
northerner
我
is
这一方
skilled
面
at
行，
making noodles after
那
being
比如说
complimented,
一个女人，北方人擀面条擀得挺好，哎，等得到大家一些赞美之后，
she'll
她就傲慢
arrogantly
道
announce
我
herself
是
China's
中国的
noodle
面条女
queen.
皇。
In
实际上
fact,
村里
8 or
至少有
10
10个8
women
个
in
妇
her
女给她擀
village
面条
make
多
better
好。
noodles.
对，
Lack of
这还有叫
insight
做
means you
见
don't
地，
understand the world.
见地，见地，我们可以解释为就是你的对世界认识的高度和广度不够。
A
为
good
什么回
portion
到
of
中国农
Chinese
村，
village
我
chiefs
遇到
talk
很
to
多
me
村
in a
长
certain way.
都是跟我这样说话的，不是所有的哈，
Bro, free food and board in my territory. Anyone annoys you, I'll fight them. I'm the emperor here. My word is law. They posture and pose, fueled by liquor, and act like a head bandit. But whenever he encounters someone tougher, even an old lady, he cowers. When his office is succeeded by another, he becomes a nobody. He becomes so depressed that he doesn't talk to people anymore. Arrogant people don't realize there's always someone better. There's no limit in the universe. Arrogant people are ignorant and have a narrow perspective. Their worldview isn't elevated or broad enough. People with great wisdom aren't arrogant. Let's talk about suspicion. For example, I may doubt things I don't understand. That's not wrong. But the 5 poisons are usually negative. Some even elicit a sense of guilt. Suspicion refers to skepticism that you feel toward the words of your master or the Buddha. You ask, is it absolute truth? In fact, it's not easy to be a Buddha. If his higher realm teachings turn out to be false or aren't absolute truths, his teachings will be debunked and he'll have no believers or followers. We wish to use our human wisdom to follow in the footsteps of sages, to understand the world thoroughly. So, the truth they teach and the world they lead us into cannot be wrong. We learn from sages to truly understand this world and to be free of suffering and to gain happiness. Thus, once the fundamental Dharma is wrongly taught, it'll truly harm people. Therefore, I won't easily lecture on Buddhist sutras, because each sutra speaks to a specific level of understanding and situation. Cognition of certain things or teachings of the Buddha. So, it's useless for me to go over a sutra with you. Even worse, if you don't get it, you might decide to stop self-cultivating. You'll incorrectly understand teachings in Buddhist sutras. Thus, you'll lose normal perceptions on how to behave and act. You'll be disillusioned and disappointed with it all. So when I explain things, I don't joke about the most important subjects. That's to say, what I teach must be correct. I've understood it well and explained it in the hopes you'll understand. In this way, you'll be able to reach the final state of freedom and ease. Suspicion refers, especially in Buddhism, to mistrust of the Buddha. This includes when I teach you Dharma in order for you to benefit, and you react by saying that you trust the Buddha but not me. What I share with you are Buddha's teachings. I explain my understanding of Buddha's teachings in order that everyone will be free from suffering and won't make those mistakes again. Don't doubt what I say. If you're always scrutinizing, you might doubt for a lifetime. You should practice what you've learned immediately after hearing it. Instead, you suspiciously ask, is this right? Is it okay? You'll miss out on self-cultivation for a lifetime. Though there's reincarnation, the concept of past and present lives Sometimes if you miss the chance to learn Dharma in this lifetime, you might not be born a human in your next life on this earth. There won't necessarily be an appropriate Dharma for you to learn. You might not reincarnate as a human. And even if you do, you might not be born in Asia, but rather Africa. There won't be many opportunities for you to learn Dharma. This is a manifestation of virtues, causality and karma.
德行、因果、业力的呈现。
For example, my teaching today is meant to help everyone to be happy.
平心而论，就是希望大家离苦得乐。
I hope Buddha Dharma can easily be understood by everyone.
容易地把它理解到。
I hope you'll think deeply about what I've left unsaid but have hinted at. Your confidence determines whether you'll understand in this lifetime.
我们的信心就可能决定了我们能否在今生今世能够理解了这个部分。
If you're confident, you'll practice it in this life. Today, I've explained to you Buddha's teachings.
今天由师父这里讲出来。
So, you should take action sincerely. If you don't have confidence, you won't act. It would be a missed opportunity. It's rare to be human and to encounter Dharma.
难得遇到佛法。
The sutras go into details about the opportunity to learn Dharma.
就是这种机会，获得佛法的机会。
To be human and hear Buddha Dharma is rare. The result depends on your intention and level of cooperation.
你的配合度是如何？
But when I teach Buddha Dharma, I don't usually use the sutra's exact
讲这些
words.
道理在受法的时候，我一般不用佛经里讲的这些原话。啊。
There's no need to stress everyone out. I want to make it easier for you to absorb and understand.
懂得这些道理。
Only then will you be able to better apply it in your lives. Since we're talking about suspicion in the 5 poisons, I need to be clear. What I've just taught is somewhat different than my usual teachings. This is in the hopes that everyone can gain confidence as an ordinary person, our knowledge, wisdom,
因为我们综合的知识、智慧啊，
understanding,
学识、
experience, and
阅历
meditation practice isn't enough.
禅修等等这些都不足的时候，
For us to have the wisdom to tell right from
理
wrong,
解这个道理是对还是错。
how do we
那这怎么办呢？
differentiate then?
那
It's
就像
just
我们
like
今天
going
我
to
们
see
病
a
了，我们
doctor
看
when
医
we're
生，
sick. Should you
医生
take
一
the
开药的
doctor's
时候，
prescribed medicine?
该不该吃啊？
You go
你回
home
家
to
开始
mull
琢磨
over
这件
whether
事，
you
我
should
吃
take
吗
it or
还是
not.
不吃呢？
Generally,
往往
there's
来
no
说，
need to be
我们得
suspicious
完
of the
病之后
doctor's
去看医
prescription.
生，往往一般不会太疑惑，给我开的药，
You're
我就
better
按
off
着
just
医生的
taking the
要求来吃这个
medication,
药，
which is usually
那通常
effective.
来说也都是有效的。
So,
就像我
doubting
病
your
了，我看医
master
生，
is the
看医生
same
给
as
我开的
doubting
疑
the
惑，
doctor's
这药
prescription.
是真的吗？
You
你
wonder if
看
the
的我
doctor
的病是
diagnosed
对
you
的吗？
correctly, and
你
delay
就
taking
就
the
是耽误
medicine.
吃药。
In the
所以有一位
1990s, I met a famous
有一位
traditional
名医
Chinese medicine
告诉
doctor
我，
in
1990
Beijing.
年在北京见我，
When
我
I
一
saw
见
his
他，
business card,
一拿他的名片，我
I
说
said,
哇，
"Wow, you're the
原来
famous
你就是
expert
那
of
一位
Chinese
大名
medicine.
鼎鼎的那位
That's
中
an
医的专家
undeserved
呀！
reputation,"
哎
he
呀，那都
said.
是那徒有虚名，徒有虚名。我
After
们
we
聊
got
天
to
聊
know
熟
each
悉了之
other,
后，
his students
他和他
told
的
me
学
about
生
the
就跟我聊，就
situation.
说，
When
其实
patients
很
come
多病
face to
人见
face
到我
with
们
the
老师的
doctor,
面就
many
开始
begin
好，
to get better.
因为在盼望见到他。这
They'd
个
been
人太
hoping
有
to
名
see
了，
this
简直像
incredibly
神医一
famous
样的一个
god-like doctor.
中医。
So,
所
having
以
the prescription in hand,
达到什么程度呢？只要拿到他开的那个药方，
or
而且
chatting
靠
while
着
the
他的
doctor
脉给他
takes
聊
their
几天，
pulse,
就
was
是
enough for the
哎，
patient's
我这
headache
个
to
头痛怎么
ease.
就开始减轻了呢？
His
他就开始自
confidence
我疗愈，
induced
就是因为这是
self-healing.
信心啊。
The
他药还
pain
没
was gone
吃，
before
已经
any
不疼
medication
了。
was taken.
最
The
后问
patient
医
asks
生，
if
那
he
我还吃
needs
吗？
the
医生说，
medicine.
尽量吃了
You'd
吧，
better take it, the
就是这
doctor
样。
says.
所以
So,
当
meeting a
遇到一
well-known
个名
doctor
医的时
produced
候，大家都知道
self-healing
认
without
可他的这个名
medication.
分的时候，所以他的效率是药未吃，病先愈啊。
Patients felt better without
还没吃
medicine.
药开始好了。
So, we don't have the wisdom to verify fundamental
道理
truths that
让
help
你
us
能够
end
离苦
suffering.
的根本的道理，我们根本没有这么高的智慧。
There's no
这
way
个
to tell
到
if
底
it's
是
right
对
or
是错
wrong.
那
Especially with Buddha
尤其
Dharma,
是
I
佛
say
陀的
just
智慧，
believe.
对于我来说，去信就好了。
We
我
don't
没
have
有
the
这么
wisdom
高
to
的智慧
judge
来
it.
判断它。
Just
信就
believe.
好，
Having the
有机缘
chance
学
to
到的。
learn is good enough, but
但
in
只是说
terms of
传
Dharma
给你今天
teachers,
传
they
法的
vary
人，
in their practice
他
and
的修行和
understanding.
对佛法的理解的那个高度深度，它是也有点点差别，就是。
Some
有的
masters
师傅
have
修
a
得更
deeper
好一些，
cultivation and
理解得透彻，
understanding,
一讲
so
你就
you'll
明白。
easily
有些
understand
呢
their
就是
teaching. Others
还有他
aren't
的因
able to
缘，可
teach
能
well due to
表
karma
达
or
能
lack
力
of life
啊，
experience.
或者是还人生经历还都不够，
So,
所以
the
讲出来的
Dharma
法
they
呢，
teach
不
will
一
be
定让你
difficult
能
to
受听，
understand.
或者
Some
想
intend
讲
to
听这个
teach
道理，
clearly, but the
心
more
愿
you
是好的，可
listen,
是
the
就
more
越说越
confused
糊涂，
you are.
也
There
有
are
这样
such
的师傅
masters.
啊。
There are
还有
yet
的师傅
others
说
who
自
can
己
become
修
a
成
Buddha
佛可以，
themselves
那
but
就
are
讲
unable
出
to
来
teach.
啊，就有这样子的啊。
It
所以
all
这也
depends
是
on each
每个修行人的
self-cultivator's
这个
fate
因
and
缘不同。
karma.
所以
So,
我
to
们若
practice
想
well
真
and
修得
gain
好，
wisdom,
若
don't
想让我
self-harm
们
or
真正的
harm
能够
others.
达到啊有智慧啊，不去自我伤害，不去伤害他人，
Begin
先
by
从
understanding the 5 poisons:
去认识无毒，认
greed,
识
hatred,
贪
ignorance,
嗔
arrogance,
痴
and
慢
suspicion.
疑开始。
If
这
you
些
can
道理弄
understand
通了
all
之后，
this, you can even
就是
self-heal
不
without
修都能
meditation.
自己好起来。就是
Simply
你
put,
心中那样的
self-healing
一种高
begins
尚
with a state of
啊，
nobility
那
in
种
one's
高尚的
heart.
那个状态，就是自我就开始，简单说就是自我疗愈、自我康复。
Some
那么有些
problems
问
and
题，
diseases come from a
有些疾
lifetime
病
of bad habits.
啊，都是已经经过我们过去很久的时间，成了一种错误的习惯，而形成了类似今天固有的疾病。
I
但是我
believe
相
that
信，
with our
经过我们
understanding
这
of
样的
this
认
lecture,
知和
even a
开悟，
tumor or bone
哪怕
spur,
是一个
which is
肿
not
瘤，
easily healed,
哪怕是一个骨刺，
can
看
be
起来说
managed or
通过我的
healed
意
through
念
our
它可能不
thoughts.
会消融的东西，我觉得都有可能会改变。
At the
至少
very least, it won't
它不
reoccur
会
or
再
get
生，
worse.
至少它不会变大，至少它不会变得更加恶劣。
It's
啊，
as
最
easy
容易
as
是这
that.
样子。
But
就
we
是但
still need
是
to
我
recognize
们还要
nature's
认识
law.
这个自然的规律。
No
无论
matter
修得
how
多好，
well we meditate, nature
这
has a
个
way and a
上天
reason
和自然界
for
总
us to
会给
leave
你一
this
个离开
world.
这个世界的方法和理由。有时候没有
Sometimes,
理
a
由，这人
person
就跑了。
passes without reason.
所
In a
以
survey
在
of centenarians,
在这
many
个
passed without
很多这
illness.
个长寿者调查的时候，就是很多长寿老人有的叫无疾而终啊，就是没有病就走了。
They
就是
died
他
of
这个
organ
整个这个生
degeneration.
命内脏全最后因为老化而衰竭而死。
They
他并
didn't
不
have
是得了糖尿
diabetes,
病啊，
heart
什么心脏
disease, or
病、癌症
cancer.
死的啊，
They
他也
simply
不会离
left
开
this
这个世
world.
界。但是
After
我
we
们懂得这些
understand
道
all
理之
this,
后呢，
reincarnation
我们现
aside,
在不要说我转世做什么，来世做什么，
we
而是
should
说我
stop
们
making
今世
mistakes,
我
causing
们不
harm, or
再
being greedy in this life.
增长我们的罪过，不再做错事，不再伤害，不再贪婪，不再去做那些不该做的那些欲望的事情，
Only
你才
then will
能
we
够
be physically and mentally healthy and free.
身心健康，身心自在。
In
啊，
such a
在
state
这
of
样的一
mind,
种精
when
神
we
状态
practice
下，
today's
你在
teachings,
修法的时候，今天我在传的这些法，你在修的时候，就
we'll find
特
it
别
easy
容
to be
易
one with that
和那
realm
样
and
的一个
benefit
境
greatly.
界融为一体，那个效果才好。
So,
这一
we
次的
focus
修
on
法是主
practicing the
修大方
meditation
面。
of greater illumination, GI. Let
大
me
方面我
explain
解释两
GI
句
a
啊。
bit. What's
那
the
我们
illumination
现在
in
的大光
GI?
明，就是何为光明呢？
What's
光
the
明的
opposite
负
of
面是什么？
illumination? Darkness. The
光明
opposite
的
of
负面
illumination
是
is
黑暗或者
darkness
无
or
明。
ignorance.
黑暗
Darkness
通常是
refers
指
to a
外在的
dark
这个环境
external
很黑暗，
environment.
而我们
Ignorance
说的无
refers
明
to
是内
darkness
在
within
的
our
无知，
minds.
内
So,
在
we
根本
cannot
看不清
clearly
人生
see
的
our
道
life
路。
path.
我
Many
们
of
很
us
多人都
don't
是这
know
样，
how
哎，
we
我不知
became
道怎么就发
wealthy
财了。
or How
不知
we
道怎么
wound
就
up
到了
in
多伦多
Toronto
了，
or
我也不知
Canada.
道怎么到了加拿大了，就这样。稀里糊涂
Dazedly,
随
you
波
went
逐
with
流
the
来的。
flow and wound up
那
here
只是
due
你
to
运
good
气好。
luck. The
哎，随着这
pulsation
个
of
人生
life
的
led you
这样
here
的一种
because of your luck and
脉动
merits.
来到了这里，真是你算是很有运气啊，算是有功德的。
But
但
many
是
of you can't
对很多
differentiate
人
between
生当
right
中
and
是
wrong.
是非非，你的分辨力是不够的，不知道这是对错。所以
So,
大
the
光
real
明真正
purpose
的
of
目的就是
GI
说，
is to
把我
illuminate the
们
darkness within
内
us.
在的这个黑暗把它照亮了。那
Why?
内在的黑暗照亮它有什么用途呢？
So
自
that
己
we
知
know
道
what
怎
to
么
do
样
in
做事，
life and are able to see
在你自
through
己
our
的
own
精神世界
behavior.
里头看透自己的行为。
What's the
那我们讲
meaning
的
of
又是大
greater
光明，
in
这个
GI?
大又是什
It
么呢？
means infinite.
是指无量的意思。
If
如
my
果
heart is
我内
illuminated with
心因为慈
compassion,
悲而光明的话，我
I
但愿
hope
这个
that
慈
my
悲
heart
哈，
becomes a
像
light
点燃
that
了一
lights
盏
up
灯，
my entire body.
这盏灯在自己的心脏里头，这盏灯开始点亮了，把我的身体照亮。 照
After
亮
my
之后，我的
body
身
has
体
been
呢就变成一个
illuminated,
发
it in
光体，一
turn
个电灯
becomes a
泡，
light
再
that
把我周围
illuminates
的
the
世界
world around me.
点亮它，照亮它。
When
如果遇
light
到众
falls on
生和
any
人类，
sentient
让
being or
他们的
human,
身
their
体
bodies
和我
turn
一样
into
发
lights
生
as
同样的
well.
过程的变化，让
May
每个人
everyone's
心
heart
中都
be
是明
bright.
亮的，
May
让每个人
everyone's
的身
body
体
turn
变
into
成
a
一个灯
light
泡，
that
在把世界
illuminates the
照亮，
world around them.
不
This
断的
continues to
延
light up
续
the
下
whole
去，
world. That's
让
why
整
it's
个世界
called
的光明
greater
赐予大
illumination.
光明。
If
那么，
people's
如果
hearts were
人内心都
illuminated,
是光
clear
明
and
的、
wise,
明了的、智慧的，这
this
个世界
world
是
would be
太和
extremely
平、
peaceful
太
and
完美
perfect.
啊！
How
多
many
少人
people live in fear their
都
entire
生活
life?
在对整个人生的恐惧之中啊！ 别说
Almost
你人了，几
everyone
乎所
bumps
有的
around
人
in pitch
晚上一
black
关了灯，伸
darkness.
手不见五指的时候就开始乱撞，那
That's
是你
spatial
空间的无明。
ignorance. Our
但在我
brain's
们大脑
so-called
的人
rational
生的大
wisdom
脑的所谓的理性的智慧之中，
neither
根本
shines
就没
any
有道
light
路
nor shows
可
us
进，
any path.
根本任何的光明都看不到。
So,
那
you
就
do
是今天
drugs, visit
引导你吸毒，
prostitutes
你
and
就会吸；
murder when life guides you to do
明天引
so.
导你嫖娼，你就会嫖；后天引导你杀人，你就杀，
Because
因为
you
你
have
根
no
本不知
idea
道
how to
怎么做人
behave.
做事。
That's
所
why
以，这个
illumination is
光
so
明是多么重
important.
要！如
If
果我
our
们的
lives
生
and
命、
bodies were
身体都是
illuminated,
光
our
明的，
mind would be illuminated too.
你就是你的精神里头是光明的。如
Without
果没有
greed,
贪嗔
hatred,
痴慢疑，
ignorance, arrogance, and suspicion, you'd
那
be
你
able to
一
quickly
定
attain the state of great ease
很
and
快就
freedom.
能够，就是正得到那个大自在的状态。好，谢
Okay,
谢大家。
thank you everyone. Suspicion in Buddhism refers to mistrust in the Buddha or the master who teaches Dharma. Practicing doubtfully is a waste of this lifetime. To gain wisdom and illumination, begin by understanding the 5 poisons and practicing self-reflection.